everybody, my name's Stacy and I'm going to read you my book, Poppy's Jeep. I hope you like it. Poppy's Jeep. Matigan glowered at Poppy's swimming pool. "Why isn't there any water in it yet?" he grumbled. "I'm fixing the filter," said Poppy. "Be patient. Soon you and your sisters can swim." Matigan didn't feel patient. "I'm so hot I'm going to melt like a popsicle," he muttered. The tips of his ears glowed. The backs of his knees itched. He gave his blow-up shark a kick and the air hissed from it. Matigan stomped around the garden. "Being at Nanny's house is boring," he said. "I wish I wasn't here." His little sister Helen was sulking in the shade. "I want to use my new bathing suit," she complained. "This is no fun." Matigan's older sister, Anya, walked by and plugged her earbuds in, yawning. "No pool. This is an epic failure," she griped. "I wish I was somewhere else." "Yeah, somewhere wet and cool," said Matigan, thrashing through the bushes. Suddenly, he kicked a hubcap. He then realized he was standing by Poppy's rusty old Jeep with peeling paint. "Come see this," Matigan shouted, climbing in. His sisters joined him on the bench seat. "Still bored," said Anya. "Want the pool," said Helen. Matigan sighed and gripped the steering wheel. "Yeah," he agreed. "I wish we could get away from here, go someplace cool and wet." Suddenly, the Jeep gave a shake like an old dog. The engine coughed into life. With a stutter and a roar, the vehicle bounced off the ground. Helen shrieked and clutched Anya. "Where are we going?" they both yelled. Matigan shrugged and grinned. "Awesome," he yelled above the wind. "Let's go somewhere with water." They roared through the clouds, sunshine, and shadows. The Jeep slanted down and landed with a groan of springs on a muddy mountain. Matigan huddled low behind the windscreen. Warm rain lashed his face. The jungle thrashed in the monsoon storm. A seed pod from a tropical tree bounced against Matigan, and he slid it into his pocket. In the valley below, a steaming river swirled higher. "The rain is hurting my eyes," cried Helen. Suddenly, the Jeep shifted as the mountain shook. "Mudslide!" cried Matigan. Faster and faster, the Jeep slid down the mountain towards the angry river. "Take us someplace else!" cried Matigan. Just in time, the Jeep got airborne. Below, villages huddled on stilts and the river swept through fields. "I am still hot," grumbled Matigan. The Jeep climbed higher above the humid monsoon clouds, cruising east. Matigan stared in awe as the coral reef came into view. "Fantastic!" he shouted. The Jeep landed with a crunch of shells, and waves slapped the wheels. Matigan climbed out and belly flopped into the surf in his shorts. The water felt warm. The sun sparkled. Anya removed her earbuds and smiled. A big wave swept him further from the Jeep. A riptide tugged him towards the open ocean. "Come back!" Helen called. Suddenly, a black fin cut the water. Matigan's heart thundered with fear. The current pulled him, and the fin sliced closer. Matigan tried to stay calm as he dog-paddled between waves, struggling back to the Jeep. "Watch out for the jellyfish!" cried Anya. Matigan held his breath as its stinging tentacles drifted past. Where was the shark? Matigan was too scared to look. Panting, he struggled on against the current. Anya reached out and hauled him into the Jeep, just in time. "Oh man, that was close," Matigan said. He slumped against the steering wheel. The sun sizzled on his wet back. "We are still too hot," Anya grumbled. "Take us someplace colder." "Let's go," Matigan told the Jeep, and the engine coughed. Faster and faster the Jeep roared, high in the sky, heading north. Anya bobbed her head to her music. Helen dozed, wrapped in her towel. Matigan stared out at the clouds, wondering if he'd survive their next adventure. The air began to chill Matigan's cheeks. The end of his nose felt numb. The Jeep plunged down and slid along a vast expanse of creaking ice. Helen's eyes widened. "Where are we?" she whispered. The sky was white. The ocean between the ice floes was black and purple. The ice was gray and green. "Well, you said you wanted to be cooler," Matigan shrugged. not this cool, snapped Anya, pulling her t-shirt tighter. Matigan's teeth began to chatter. The three kids hugged each other tight, shaking from the cold. Watch out, a bear, yelled Helen. The polar bear padded right to the Jeep. He stuck his long nose over the driver's door and growled, showing huge teeth. Matigan kept very still. Carefully, Matigan slid his hand into his pocket and pulled out half a salmon sandwich. Nanny had made it for his lunch, even though he told her he did not like salmon. Matigan threw the sandwich on the ice for the bear. While the bear sniffed the sandwich, he gripped the steering wheel. Please, Poppy's Jeep, take us home, he implored. The Jeep bounced over cracks in the ice and lurched into the bitter wind. It headed southwest, and gradually the air warmed. The Jeep made a perfect touchdown in Poppy's bushes. Nanny, hanging washing on the line, didn't even notice. Matigan climbed out, followed by his sisters. His toe was bruised from coral, his shoulders were sunburned, and his nose was cold. What a trip! Did it really happen? Matigan felt in his pocket. Yes. There was the seed pod from the jungle tree. He paused to bury it in Poppy's vegetable patch. The kids trudged up the path. Matigan stopped so suddenly that his sisters piled into him. Whoa! Would you look at that? He whooped. He broke into a run. Then he did a cannonball into the pool. Helen slid in, toes first, and Anya did a dive. Matigan grabbed his new shark toy and rode on its back. Yay! We're finally cool, he shouted. But not icy cold, said Helen. The water is so much fun, Matigan said, but not when it's a monsoon flood or a riptide, shuddered Anya. Matigan climbed out and did a backflip just as Nanny arrived with a plate of watermelon and some glasses of lemonade. Thanks, the kids chorused. Your place is the best, said Matigan, smiling at Poppy. It's not too hot and not too cold. It's just right. The end. So this book has been made possible with a whole community of support behind me, so I will just read it here. And this book is for everyone who is and continue to always be in my corner. Thank you for making me who I am today. To my wonderful Terry, thank you for inspiring me every day. To Anya, Matigan, and Helen, the stars of this book, thank you for being a part of my first story. And of course, Mom and Dad, aka Poppy, and the Jeep. I could not have done this without you. I love you all. So this is my first book, Poppy's Jeep. I hope you all liked it. So I've had the idea for Poppy's Jeep in my head for a very long time, since my niece Anya was 2 or 3 years old. So this is actually her right here. So the illustrator that I hired to do this book took pictures of my family and made them into cartoons. So when Anya was 2 or 3 years old, she used to go under the cap. The cap of the Jeep would be the hard top. So some Jeeps have a soft top, some have a hard top. The Jeep in Poppy's Jeep has no top because Poppy's Jeep for a long, long time was just a shell. And Anya would play with pieces of these shells of my father's Jeep, who they call Poppy, and pretend she was going everywhere around the world on these magical adventures. So I had an idea to write a book. I've always been inspired by Robert Munsch stories to try and make it colorful and engaging. So I had this idea for a long time, and then finally a couple years ago, with the help of Terry, he made it happen for me, and we put the idea on paper. So this is Anya. She's the oldest of my sister's 3 kids. And this is Helen. She is the youngest. And this is Matigan. He's the second in line and only boy. And these are the stars of Poppy's Jeep. And if you notice at the end of the book, you'll actually see, so again, the illustrator did a fantastic job taking pictures of my family. And you will see this is my father. His name is Poppy, originally Ken. And this is Nanny, my mom, Laura. And she took pictures of like my family's yard, so that's their deck and that's their pool, so that the children of our life could actually see their family as cartoons. This Jeep is still at Poppy's house. It hopes to be resurrected one day. I have lots of plans for more books. I have so many ideas in my head and I can't wait to get them out. I would like to feature other members of our family, so stay tuned for more. Hopefully they'll come soon. So this book right now is for sale exclusively on Amazon. You can get it there.